everyone, welcome to Find Your Flow. My name is Natalie and I will be guiding you through this practice today for the desk body. So grab your at-home props, your blocks, bricks, books, towels, cushions, pillows, anything you might need to find a little bit more space in the body and lift the ground, up to you. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to get started by lying down on the ground. So bring in the feet as wide as the mat and keep the knees bent and just rest the hands wherever they feel most comfortable. Allowing the knees to collapse in towards each other if that feels comfortable, just taking away any masses of effort or tension from the body. Taking a couple of minutes first to just breathe here. So arriving in this space on our mat, putting our to-do list and everything else that's happening in our lives right now to one side. Taking a big breath in through the nose, and as you exhale, softly sigh it out of the mouth. 2 more times, moving with your own rhythm of breath. And as we breathe in, really filling up all of the space in the lungs, feeling the ribs expand. And as you breathe out, emptying everything. And returning to your natural breath in and out of the nose. Softening the muscles of the face, taking any tension out of the shoulders. And start to notice where your mind might have wandered to. If our thoughts are quite loud or scattered, can we simply be aware of this and keep bringing ourselves back to this space? We might like to bring both hands onto the stomach, or the left hand to the heart and the right hand to the stomach. Just as a physical reminder of the rising and falling underneath our right hand as we breathe in and breathe out. Three more breaths here. Can we be here now? And keeping the eyes closed or opening them if you'd like to. Resting the arms as we float the knees over to the right. So the right thigh rolls out, left thigh rolls in. And then over to the left like windscreen wipers. Moving 2 more times to each side with the rhythm of your body and your breath. And whenever you've finished, coming back to center. And we'll meet there, hugging the knees in towards the armpits, taking the hands onto the knees as we rock from side to side. And then coming back to center, as we open the knees out wide, we'll send them around in a big circle. 2 more times in this direction. And then sending your hips in the opposite direction whenever you're ready, but there's no need to rush here. And we really feel the space we have in our hips. And let our breath lead the way. And if somewhere feels a little bit stickier, we might stay there for a moment or two, just send our breath there. And then coming all the way back to center, planting the feet on the ground, hands down by our sides. We'll float our tailbone off the earth, peel the spine off the mat. One vertebra at a time, lifting our hips a little higher, then breathing as we roll all the way back down slowly. Nice, and lifting off the lower back, the middle back, the upper back, rising and then replacing back down the upper back, the middle back and the lower back. One more time. Can our spine move as individual parts as we float like a wave, releasing. Nice, and two options here, either rolling onto our right side using our palms to help lift us up into a seat, or taking the hands to the hamstrings as we tuck the chin to the chest and start to roll up and down the length of our spine. Take as many rolls as you want to here. Just really finding this softness, this playfulness. We'll all come to join together, lifting our hips up onto some form of prop to find a bit more space. And joining together in a seat. If Sukhasana, cross-legged, doesn't feel good for you, finding any other version that does, but just noticing everybody keeping this nice long spine from the tip of our tailbone all through our back body to the crown of our head. And then floating the arms out wide, spreading our wings, reaching for the sky. And releasing. Two more times, slowing this down, really feeling this movement rather than worrying about the destination or how this looks. Once more. Nice, and then releasing the hands behind us. We'll lift our heart space, find a little airplane wings. As we lift our gaze, we'll find extension through the spine. And then curling forwards, palms float together, chin tucks in towards the chest, rounding into flexion. Two more times, opening and releasing, marrying the movement to your breath, inhaling to open, exhaling to release. Nice. Then finding our neutral spine, reaching our hands back up towards the sky. And floating the right hand down to the right side, reaching the left hand all the way up and over, really noticing this right rib cage spiral towards the sky as we find space, breathing in. Breathing out, sending the left hand down next to the right as we press away from the earth into a twist. Keeping the lower body really rooting down heavily towards the earth. One more breath here. Before slowly unraveling, reaching the hands back towards the sky, then left hand over and right hand reaches, breathing into this space in our right side body, right ribs. Inhaling. Exhaling, right hand comes down to the ground. We lift away from the earth in our twist. And slowly unraveling, both hands reach tall and then out to the sides, crossing the left arm over the right. Backs of the hands or palms come towards each other as we lift the elbows, softening the shoulders. Eagle arms, really finding and breathing into this space around our upper back body, noticing this. Nice, one more breath here. Before releasing, floating the arms wide and crossing the right arm over the left. Eagle arms on the other side. And remember, the hands don't have to touch, just the intention of bringing them towards each other. And listening to where there's space. Taking a big breath in. Big breath out and releasing the arms, rolling the shoulders forwards and back. Nice, and shaking it out, spreading through the hands as we jump forwards into our tabletop or 4-point kneeling. With our wrists beneath our shoulders, knees beneath our hips. We'll send our rib cage, so take all of our attention to our ribs and float them over to the left. And then down towards the ground, lifting our tailbone, lifting our gaze, cow pose. Ribs float over to the right and up towards the sky, arching our back like an angry cat, dropping the tailbone, dropping the gaze. Nice, then coming back over to the right, down towards the ground, lifting into our cow pose, finding this soft flow, floating the ribs to the left and up towards the sky, cat pose. Nice, and staying in your cat pose for one more breath. We'll lift the tailbone, roll through each vertebrae of the spine until the head moves last of all, coming back to our cow. And rolling the tailbone down, moving our spine, each vertebrae like a wave as we drop the gaze, cat pose. Keep pressing through the palms to lift out of the shoulders one more time. Slowly rolling, oiling the joints, cow. And releasing back into our cat. Nice. Floating to our neutral spine, tucking the toes under as we rock forwards and all the way back. Nice. Forwards and back. Forwards and back. And one more time, coming forwards and coming back halfway, walking the knees back. Untucking the toes as the shoulders rock over the wrists into a low plank. Floating our elbows behind us, coming down to the ground, taking our hands a little bit wider than our mat as we take our feet as wide as our mat, pressing down gently through the palms to lift our heart space forwards. Cobra. And releasing and trying to lift on our exhale as we press down to slowly rise, keeping the elbows bent, releasing. Nice, one more time. Lifting the heart forwards and softening down, pressing the palms to lift all the way back up and come to sit straight into your child's pose, knees wide, toes together. Just taking this time to reconnect to your breath. Find this softness. If you want to find gentle movement, rocking from side to side here, I invite you to. And whenever you're ready, we'll jump back into our tabletop, tucking our toes under as we reach the arms out in front, pressing down through the palms, lifting the knees off the ground, then sending the hips high, downward facing dog. Don't stop moving, pedal through the heels, move the hips from side to side. Nice. Floating the left leg off the ground, reaching away through the heel in a three-legged dog. Bending the left knee, finding circles through the hip one way and then the other way. We have the option to do this from the ground and our tabletop, so notice where you are, be with your own body. Nice, left leg releases, right leg reaches off. Bending the knee, finding space through the hip as we circle round in both directions. Nice, right leg comes down, we walk the hands back to the feet, finding a fold, knees bend, crown of the head down towards the earth, feet hips distance apart. Gently swaying from side to side, arms are really heavy. And floating back to center, as slow as we can, rolling up to standing. Arms hang like a rag doll. Nice, coming into our mountain pose. Toes tracking forwards. Knees softly bend, we float the arms wide, reach them for the sky. And then take the hands onto the sitting bones as we send the sitting bones to the back of our mat, bending our knees. Hands come together at the heart now. Imagine we're sitting back in a chair, noticing the space around our pelvis, feeling the connection through each of the 26 bones in our feet down towards the ground. And we keep the spine long, lifting the heart space towards the thumbs. One more breath here. Before folding forwards, down towards the ground. Then lifting up halfway, finding a flat back. Fingertips reach behind like airplane wings, finding space between the shoulders and the earlobes. Softening all the way down, walking the hands back either into a child's pose or downward facing dog. If you're in down dog, don't stop moving. If you're in child's pose, I also invite you to rock gently here. And everybody slowly meeting down or lifting up into a tabletop. We'll send the left leg off the earth behind us and step it all the way forwards into a lunge. Fingertips rise, elbows soften, cactus arms. Then taking our left wrist with our right hand, we'll fold over to the right side, keeping the front knee over the front ankle. And then taking the left hand to the right wrist, we'll reach over towards the left side. Breathing in, breathing out. Hands release, arms float wide, crossing the right arm over the left. Eagle arms, lifting the shoulders, lifting the elbows, softening the shoulders. One more breath here. Before releasing, hands down either side of the front foot, lifting back to your tabletop and sending the right leg back and then all the way forwards, coming into your lunge on the other side. Hands rise, finding space through the hips. We soften the elbows. Nice, and taking the right wrist with the left hand, folding over to the left side. Breathing into the space in the ribs. We float back through center. Right hand to the left wrist, floating over to the right. Nice. Lots of lefts and rights here. Breathing in. Breathing out, float through center, arms reach, and then crossing the left arm over the right. Eagle arms. Breathing into the upper back body. Finding space as we inhale. And exhale. Planting the palms either side of the front foot, stepping all the way back, tucking the toes under, reaching the arms out. As we send the hips high, downward facing dog, pedaling through the heels. Then walking the hands back to the feet, taking the feet hips distance apart if they aren't already, slowly rolling all the way up to standing, heavy like a rag doll. Arms float wide, reaching for the sky. Palms come together at the heart as we send the sitting bones back, bending the knees, chair pose. Nice. Notice all sides of the feet on the earth, each of our toes, our heel, the inner arch, the knife edge. Breathing in, breathing out, rolling back down to the ground. Lifting up halfway, finding a flat back, and releasing all the way down. Planting the palms and walking back, everybody into downward facing dog. Pedal through the heels, send the hips from one side to the other. Nice. And floating back to center, left leg reaches away. Three-legged dog, bending the left knee, we'll step it forwards into a lunge. Taking a nice wide stance in our lunge as we keep the front knee over the front ankle, rising. Lifting the back knee off the ground, high lunge. Nice, you're doing fine. Breathing in. Breathing out, pivoting our back foot to the ground, hands to the ribs as they spiral open to the right side. Arms reach, warrior two. Finding this external rotation through the thighs as we float the left hand down the left leg. Keep it reaching forwards, keep reaching as we rise, lifting back, reverse warrior. Finding space through our back body. Gorgeous. And floating all the way back, warrior two. Crossing the right arm over the left. Backs of the hands or palms towards each other, eagle arms. Lifting through the elbows. This time we'll curl the chin towards the chest, finding flexion. And open, lifting our heart. Taking our gaze back 2 more times. Moving in a flow-like state, like a wave. Rather than reaching a destination, really exploring this movement through our spine and noticing how this feels. Nice. Whenever you finish, coming back to your warrior 2, opening the arms. Bringing the left forearm down to the left thigh. Side angle pose, spiraling the right fingertips forwards, reaching them all the way back and windmilling here. 2 more times this direction. Nice, and then in the opposite direction. And really thinking about the movement our shoulder space is taking as it moves. So rather than just flinging the arm around because that's what I'm telling you to do, really think about why we're doing this and what this feels like for us. And then reaching the right hand towards the sky or over towards the front of your mat for 1 more breath. And lifting warrior 2. Nice. Pivoting on the back foot, coming back into your high lunge. Arms reach towards the sky. And framing the front foot, we step back into our downward facing dog or child's pose. Don't stop moving. Unless you really want to stop moving, then do feel free to stop. Just connecting to our breath, noticing our inhales and our exhales. And everybody meeting in our downward dog. Floating the right leg away from us, 3-legged dog. Bending the right knee, stepping it forwards. But taking our left foot a little bit wider, growing into our lunge from the foundation up. Hands float high. Pivoting on the back foot, hands to the ribs, opening to the left side. Arms reach, warrior 2. Nice, noticing the back leg nice and long. Rooting down through the knife edge of the back foot and floating the right hand down the right leg. Keep it reaching forwards as we rise. Lifting all the way back, reverse warrior. And floating through warrior 2. Crossing the left arm over the right, eagle arms. Breathing here. Curling through the spine, finding flexion and then opening. Moving with your breath, thinking about the spine as it floats. Maybe we give our spine a colour. Close our eyes as we imagine this. What does it look like for our spine to move in this way? Nice. Whenever you've finished, opening back into your warrior 2. Right forearm down to the thigh, side angle pose. Find your windmills. And don't just find the movement in the shoulder, but also explore this through the ribs. So we're opening through the front body as well as the arm space. 3 more times one way and 3 more times the other way. And whenever you've finished, coming into our side angle pose, notice where the left arm wants to reach, finding space. And rising warrior 2, pivoting on the back foot into our high lunge for 1 breath. And planting the palms, stepping back, downward dog or child's pose. Choose where you are here. Breathing in, breathing out. And this time if you're in down dog, slowly float the knees to the earth. Everybody will meet in a child's pose. Knees wide, big toes to touch, softening into the ground beneath you. Notice where your thoughts are, where your attention lies. Where do you feel your breath the most in your body right now in this space? Can you maybe explore filling up the lungs a little bit more with every inhale and emptying everything out a little more with every exhale? Slowly reaching back all the way up into your tabletop, or scooting the legs to one side as we jump through to a seat. Keeping our knees bent, soles of the feet to the ground, we'll float the fingertips forwards and slowly, as slow as we can go. Imagine you're moving in slow motion. As the chin slightly tucks towards the chest, imagine our spine touching back down on the ground, one vertebra at a time. Can the legs stay on the ground? Can the toes stay? Can we still breathe? Nice. Whenever you arrive there, really taking your time, making sure you breathe. We'll reach the arms back and the legs forwards. Taking a big lengthening all the way through the heels and through the fingertips. Breathing in, breathing out. Twice more. Inhaling, exhaling. One more time. And then bring in the left foot to the ground, crossing the right ankle over the top of the left thigh. Noticing if you want to stay here, or lift the left shin parallel to the sky, hands interlaced behind the hamstring, keeping the feet active. Head, neck and shoulders are soft. Resist the temptation to curl up and find compression and tension in this space. Really keep this length and this space. Option to lengthen the left leg towards the sky for our last couple of breaths. And then releasing both feet down. Left foot crosses over the top of the right thigh. I know that we can always stay here. This might definitely be as much as we want to feel today, so really listen to your body and resist the urge to always take the highest or the most challenging version of the posture. Or option to interlace the hands around the hamstring, shin comes parallel to the sky, feet stay active. Notice how all of our postures will change and how we feel in them will change. Everything's in this constant state of flow. So just being really, really present and accepting everything exactly as it is. Option to lengthen the right leg towards the sky for our last couple of breaths. And releasing both feet down, hugging the knees in, curling the forehead towards the knees, taking a big breath in. And exhale, lengthen the legs, release the arms. Come to find our final and most precious resting posture, Shavasana. Here I invite you to close the eyes or soften the gaze as we sink our body down into the ground that's always there supporting those beneath us. Here we let the breath come and let the breath go. Can we take this time here to allow the benefits of our practice to be sealed within us? Know that everything is connected. The outer body and the inner body work together as one. So as we lie here, simply feeling what we feel, noticing the subtle body changes that might have happened. And taking our attention down to the sole of our foot, to our heels, our toes, and then spreading this awareness to the top of our foot, to our ankles, through the calves and the shins to the knees, through the thighs to the hamstrings, to the glutes, the hips, the pelvis. Keep this awareness spreading through our stomach, noticing all of our organs, up to our diaphragm, our rib cage, our chest, and then down the back body to the lower back, the middle of the back, the upper back, up to the shoulders. Spreading this now down through our biceps and our triceps, to our elbows, through our forearms, our wrists, our palms, our fingertips. This awareness spreads through our neck, to our jaw, our cheeks, brows and forehead, to the back of the head, to the crown of the head. Everything is connected. We are here in this moment as one. And staying here as long as you'd like to. Or if you have to boogie, bringing the palms together towards the heart space. And I thank you here for your time and for your energy. And from my heart to yours, Namaste.